Again, I'm making some assumptions at this point that you've purchased a bolt or you have a bolt or you're able to play the game. If you don't have that kind of thing, you should kind of get to a screen like this where it's like, hey, you need a Vi or a CyberGals NFT to play this game. Install your MetaMask, click through here. But if you already have one, we're good to go for our tutorial of how to build a new game. So just go ahead and hit build new game. Pick your game type. For this one, we are going to do a one player score. So this is a coin collect map. 100 default coin collect. Let's just do 100 default coin. That's what we'll name it. So again, you can enter your new username. Don't understand why you would ever want to change it, so we'll just leave that field alone. And then with the name your game world, you can name it whatever you want. For us, we're going to put in the 100 default coin because that's kind of what we're shooting for as far as the map that we're making. We're going to hit create. That should take us into the world builder. And from here, we have the basic level. So they give you a level that, you could literally just hit play this level, kind of see how things go. Coin spawn, grab the coins, and those should end up respawning. Boop, boop, boop. And that's your level. So my idea was to try to make a very basic level that kind of, touches on some of these elements still. The spawn delay, start delay, respawn delay. So let's just turn these down so they should start immediately. And then respawning for these, we do not want these to respawn. So we're going to up these to 480. Sorry, I am jumping in here pretty quickly. Let me actually back that up some. Okay, so whenever you click on an object, you're going to have properties that pop up down here. You can change the properties of what you want. You also have translations. The translations is basically where in this grid of a world does it translate to. So you can see you have an x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. If you've done any kind of world building before, or if you've done, anything with sheet graph paper, you can kind of get an idea of some of that. And you can very easily kind of see, like, look, you move it this way, you move it that way. Rotates back and forth on the x-axis. Y-axis is going to take you up and take you down on things. So you can go up and down wherever you want to go. And then Z is going front and back. So it gives you a lot of options, kind of, just moving things around. You can also just grab and drag things around. I personally don't like doing this as much, but this is a nice way to kind of illustrate that, graph that we were talking about. So you have, your Z-axis going this way. You have your X-axis going this way. And then I don't know the easiest way to drag up and down. I always have to kind of rotate my camera angle, but you could also go to the Y-axis at that point. In this mode too, I accidentally hit E there, but you can see you can do E to fly up and Q to fly down. So you can kind of fly around if you need to get from point A to point B while you're doing all your world building. You also have this little wrench over here that will get you to your various options. So again, we have the game manager, which this is just general settings for the game. So you can change, time limit, score target, which we actually do want to change ours because we're going to go up to 100. Respawn time if the player dies. You can do camera distance. You can zoom out, zoom in. Players will get forced to that camera view, so keep in mind what you want to do. And then you can always change the skybox. So let's just change it to something bright and cheery. That one looks pretty good right now. Then you have your platform blocks. If you want to add more platforms, you can see we're on a grass platform right now, and there are a few trees. You have a lot of different options here. We're not going to go too much into those right now. You also have your doodads. These are going to be a lot of things that, kind of speed you up or push you around the map. Again, not something we're going to touch on too much in this one. And then you have your obstacles. So things that, will essentially kill you. This is one of the ones that we do need on this map because this is where our coins are located, and we'll be using those. So going back into what we were doing, we adjusted these properties so these coins should spawn the moment the match starts, and then they will never respawn again. Because what we want to do is we want to hit Control D, or this little plus up here, to duplicate it. And then we're going to bring it back to minus 0.5. I'm going to rotate it just so I know where these ones are. And then these ones are going to have a spawn delay. So we're going to have a spawn delay of 10 seconds. Maybe let's do 15. 15, no, let's do 10. We'll see how it goes with 10. rotate this one again. Also, again, we're doing a 10-second spawn delay. And then we're doing Control D. And we're going minus 0.308. And we're going to rotate it with a 10-second spawn delay. I'm going to just hit play just to make sure this works the way I want it. This does look like it's spawning both coins at the same time, which is not what I want. So let's see if we can change. Now spawn delay looks like it did not save. So let's do start delay and see if that will save for us. Start delay. Start delay. Start delay. This one looks like it's saved. Let's see where that goes. So only one of each coin spawn, which is what we want. And then 10 seconds into the game, in theory, all three other ones should spawn. There you go. Okay, so that is what I want. I'm going to add another set of three. Minus 0.5. Rotate it just slightly. This is going to be on a 20-second spawn delay. Rotate it slightly, 20-second spawn delay. Seconds spawn delay. Okay, so essentially what we're trying to do with our map is you have, the 3 coins that spawn. So you have 3 of your 100 coins that you need. Then you're like, what do I do? There's nothing going on here. Oh, 3 more coins. 3 coins. So now you've got 6 of 100 coins. So you're still kind of like, well, that's only 6 coins. Like, I need 100 coins. And then you grab the next 3, and you're still kind of confused at this point of where all the other coins are. And then at this point, we're going to go add some more coins that just spawn everywhere. So that is our goal, to kind of have, coins spawning every which where on this map. We want the start delay to be 30 at that point. I don't think the spawn delay matters. Respawn delay of 3 seconds is a little much. Why don't we do 60 seconds on the respawn delay? Because we can always add additional coins too. Let's see how this spacing works. We're duplicating again. I'm using Control D, but remember you can use this little plus up here if you want to just use it that way. We're going to count our coins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14. Can I squeeze one more in there? 15. Yeah, so we got 15 coins going wide. And then again, when you duplicate an object, whichever way you're facing, it will duplicate in a fixed amount going in that direction. So that's why I'm rotating my character here. So I rotate this way, and I just do Control D or the plus again to drop those up. If you ever end up doing one too many coins, you can always hit this little undo button over here. Or if you end up making, one too many coins, whoop, that one did not duplicate for some reason. Duplicate. That coin does not want to duplicate anymore. So we duplicate, and then if they end up doing something you didn't like and you don't want to undo it, you can hit the trash can and just delete the coin. So far we're doing pretty good. Let's go this way. Let's go this way. So in a normal map, using this many different coins is probably not a good idea. You would want to utilize these respawn delays if you're doing something, because if you come over here to your platforms, you can see how many blocks you have. This is a soft limit currently. You can go over 350 blocks in a map, but if you go over 350 blocks, your performance may vary. So it's one of those things that you don't necessarily want to throw too many doodads and objects into a game. Otherwise, people won't be able to play the game. And also the kind of the purpose of why I'm doing this map is one of the devs always kind of mentions like, hey guys, you built too big of a map. You guys should build much smaller maps, or like kind of, more focused maps. So this to me is my focus map. It's a little bit of a ripoff because we're copying, the default map, but it's meant to be kind of like a, oh my gosh, what just happened type of thing. If you're playing with multiple people, then obviously it's going to be harder for, multiple people to grab all the coins. Let's also hit play real quick just before I keep doing a million coins and ensure this is actually working the way I want it to. So 1, 2, 3. Because we're not doing respawn coins, we're doing the coins spawn after a fixed limit. If somebody was just sitting here not grabbing coins, they should duplicate spawn on top of each other, which I'm fine with. Again, that's the initial 9 in this game, which, as I said, your goal is to get 100. So you're like, oh, hey, here's all these extra coins. And then what happens? And then you sit here for a minute, and then all those coins spawn. I don't love the performance hit that people are going to hit when all these coins spawn at the same time, but it is meant to be that kind of like WTF moment of, hey, I was just playing this game, and then all of a sudden, all these coins appeared. As we said, we've got about 15 on each line. So if there's 15 on each line, then we have 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. We're up to 120 coins so far. So that alone would be enough for one player to win. And that's why I think we don't have to worry too much about all our respawns and other stuff. But let's go here. Let's do doot. I think we're going to end up moving these coins up here. Doot. Move this coin back down. Yeah, I think this is going to work out pretty well for us. Again, it's kind of a little bit of a joke level, but it's pretty quick to make this level. I think I'll be pretty happy with how it goes. Again, anytime you want to duplicate things, again, we're just using Control D, or you can use that plus at the top. So if you're using a lot of the same object like we are, it's a pretty easy way to make your level. If you've never made a level before, I would suggest picking an object that you like and using a lot of that object in that level, because you can, easily duplicate working objects or working doodads to kind of make, a platformer map with a lot of disappearing platforms or something, or some type of map that has, mallets that you're trying to avoid, so you can duplicate some of those mallets and then just adjust the variety of like speeds, kind of like what we're doing with the coins. I should adjust my camera angle. Remember, you can always go here and just adjust your camera angle. So if we want to see a little better, this is the camera angle that people would play with though. So if you don't want that camera angle for your game, you do need to adjust it before you export the level. I think this coin is high enough. I don't know if I go all the way to the edge, because then I worry that I'm like right on the edge for people and they might not like that. That's also a little too high there. No, that's fine. On the edge it is. All the way up to 3.5. And we'll turn our character, duplicate that way. Remember, you want to be turning your character so it duplicates in the angle that you want that to spawn. And remember, if you need to, too, you can use E, so you can kind of fly your character up. So you have a lot of ability to kind of go where you're going. In this mode, we're not really utilizing that too much because we really are pretty much done with our map at this point. We just throw one more here, duplicate this way, turn that way, duplicate that, and I think we're done. So we did have one coin that kind of went rogue over here. We'll end up just deleting that. We'll take a look at our map. I think it's pretty much what we want. We can see how bad we're going to lag our performance when we play. So 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9. Let's see if our performance completely dies as we spawn all these coins. Because we're like, what do we do now, guys? And everything. You're like, oh my gosh, I gotta get all these coins. Just grab. And it's pretty much a wild map of whoever can get them coins first wins. No tricks, nothing too crazy. At this point, we would be ready to export the map. If you hit this export button, you'll kind of get a thing that says, hey, your game world is ready. Copy the link. It's now on your clipboard. You can also just hit play, and it'll take you into your actual level. And then hit play. And this loads up the game like if you were actually playing. You can see 100 default coin is our level name. The creator is strong because we're the ones that made it. And you have 2 minutes to collect them. So let's see if we can do this level in 2 minutes. Remember, the first like 30 seconds is meant to be super slow. So it's like, oh, you know, I've got to collect 100 coins? How will I ever collect 100 coins by the end of this? This is taking forever. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then everything. There is not enough coins, I think, if multiple people are collecting them all to have 2 people win. But depending on how many people are playing, these coins should respawn. We should actually wait a minute just to make sure that they're going to respawn as we intend, because there should be some that respawn before the end of this map. Okay, so we need 2 more coins. As things start to respawn, we should be able to get our 2 coins, but let's just double check and see that they're respawning as we expect. Should be respawning up top earlier, I think, because that's where we were. You can see the scoreboard catching up to us. I think we were at about 1:30 when the coins started spawning, so hopefully this should be where we started collecting things. There you go, you can see the coins respawning. There we go, we win. So not only have you built your first map now, you've actually successfully played your first map. You'll go into these lobbies in between maps. You can always choose which one next. Do you want default coin or default coin? Oh, I think we'll take default coin over here. They're working on party mode right now, so this lobby will change a little bit, and then it'll be kind of the voting system of how you do choose the next world you want to play. But if you finished up your map and you're good to go, you're ready to play with friends. For us, we actually do want to go make one last change before we kind of call it a done deal type of thing, because I think we could use a little bit more decorations. So now we're not building a new map, we're loading a game because we've already edited our map before. All your maps are on here, but you'll have this little bar right here that lets you scroll over. You find 100 default coins, our map. And I would like to add a little bit more decoration here. So for me, I'm going to go kind of over here. I don't know what decoration I want to use for it because I think I want to use something like lava so it's super apparent, but I feel like the background we chose, maybe that's not the way to go. We could just use the grassy platform. Because again, we don't need anything too fancy. It's going to spawn the grassy platform just in the air because again, we're flying in the air here. I'm trying to make a flying kind of like notice for people. But because I was at an angle when I spawned this platform, it spawned at an angle. I'm going to adjust it to 0, so it just goes this way. And then I'm going to tilt it this way for us. So it's going straight up and down right now. I'm going to change the scale of my platform because I want it to be thinner. So I'm going to do something like that. And I think I'm going to make it a tiny bit taller, but I don't necessarily need it too much taller. Let's make it a little bit taller. We'll go up to 6. So for me, that looks kind of like a number 1. So when you're looking down there, that should be like the number 1. You can see where we are. So if you look at our platform down here that we click on, you can see we spawned at X or Z minus 10. So that's kind of our default here. So with this, we're all the way out here because this is going Z. So I'm looking for my X to be kind of defaulted. I'm going to make a 1, 0, 0. So the 1, 0 is going to be right here. Maybe we'll actually duplicate this way, duplicate it a 3rd time, and we're going to shrink this one so it is not as tall. Let's go to 2. Then we're going to go back to move, and we're going to inch it up a little bit. Inch, right about there. And then we're going to inch it, not backwards, but this way on the x-axis. around there. And this is kind of what we're looking for. So I'm now going to duplicate it again. I'm going to move it back to around here. We're going to move it down some. We don't want it to go below this, so we're going right about here. Moving it over. And then I'm going to try to adjust this a little bit so it's, pretty easy. As I said, these are meant to be the middle of this, so this should be 0, I think. This should be 0. And this should be, what would it be? -1, maybe -2. And that would mean this would be 2. This one looks like it got inched forward a tiny bit. You can see where our z-axis is off, so that's why it's sticking out just a tiny bit here. I think that looks like a pretty good 0. I think this is good advice if you're starting out with building level of trying to do things in symmetry. So you can see where I was building around that 0, the x-axis of 0, because now I know this one wants to be offset by -2, and this one wants to be offset by +2. So it's pretty easy to kind of duplicate those things. Another tip as you get into things is you have multi-select. You can shift to select multiple items. And then when we aim this way, we can hit Control D, and now we have another 0. So it's pretty easy once you get going to multiple select things. This one I'm going to single select this platform and go this way. And for me, if I go over here, that looks like the number 100. Like when you're sitting there, you're just like, why is there a floating 100? Because it's default 100. You want 100 coins on this map. We're going to see if we can actually multi-select everything here, because that would be really cool. We're going to try to do a duplicate that way. We're going to try to rotate it. So we're going 90 degrees here. And then we're trying to figure out where we want to move it. So with this, I can navigate it this way. It's a little harder to tell exactly where I am once I've moved it like this. So I might end up just moving it. Again, you also can just click and drag. So this is one of those times where clicking and dragging is actually super cool, because you can just say, hey, we're going over here. I think that looks about even. Again, I want my 0 in the middle, so I think I gotta drag it that way some. Also looking at this, you can tell that my scaling is off on the zeros just a tiny bit, so I can choose to fix that, or I'll probably just leave it, because again, players will be down here. As long as they look up and see my decoration, I'm pretty happy with that. I don't need to make it too fancy. So let's duplicate the 100 again, rotate the 100 again, drag the 100 again. Oops. I'm going to hit undo because I kind of messed that one up at this point. I do still have everything selected, although I'm going to have to click on this to rotate things, but I can at least move it to where I want it to go. And from here, you can see I messed up my rotation by 10 degrees when I copied it. So I can, again, multi-select, 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 rotate it that way. I think I need to drag it again. I keep accidentally clicking off of everything. It's fine. We will do this a little more manually if I keep messing this up. This way some, this way some. Multi-selecting can be a huge benefit to you. So again, depending on what types of maps you're building, you'll definitely want to work with things like that to see what you can come up with. We're going to drag our 100 all the way over here. Make sure we're over the edge of the world. This is where I said we're going up and down on this grid. So we want to move and go side to side. So we're going back on our X and Z axis as opposed to the Y axis. I think that looks pretty good. Let's hit play again and see what it kind of looks like from our side. So like 100, 100, 100, 100. What is going on? To me, I feel like this kind of helps the player. It's called 100 default coin. It is literally the default coin map. So you're like, oh, I need to collect 100 on the default coin map. But once they get going, they'll realize that they do need 100 on the default coin map, because it is not just the default coin map. There's a little bit more going on. Obviously, this will not be as much fun if you're playing by yourself, but it's good practice to make sure you know how to beat all your friends and grab all the coins. So I think that should conclude our first video. Again, remember, we've gone through the building, we've gone through the testing. Make sure that you do the export so you get that link. You'll have that link, and you can also share it in Discord. There's a Share Worlds channel where you can drop your world in there. Other people check it out. A lot of people give you feedback on those kind of things, so you can let them know you built a world and see what they think about it. I think that should cover pretty much everything from the video, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the